views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Today we're here at the beautiful New York Botanical Garden preparing to kick off Bronx Week 2021. Now in its 49th year, Bronx Week is the annual celebration of everything that makes the Bronx a great place to live, work, and raise a family. This is Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr.'s final Bronx Week as our Borough President. So please join us as the Bronx Tourism Council, Bronx Week sponsors, and BP Diaz share a series of borough-wide events taking place from May 5th to May 16th. And also stay tuned to find out who the Bronx Walk of Fame inductees are for 2021.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right. See, now I feel like the Borough President. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming out so bright and early on a not-so-good hair day. I'm just happy that I was able to wear shoes today. I put the yoga pants away. So thank you all. My name is Olga Luz Tirado. I am the Executive Director of the Bronx Tourism Council. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Borough President. So for the first time since I can remember, Bronx Week is a week. In the past, it's been 11 days back to back, but Bronx Week this time for this 2021 is a week. And we're thrilled to be here. In a few minutes, you're gonna hear from a few people, and at the end of the program, we're going to reveal who is going to be inducted onto our 2021 Bronx Walk of Fame. Thank you. We're thrilled to honor these three individuals and also to honor Woodlawn Cemetery, who's here, with the 2021 Tourism Award. Woodlawn is lauded as one of America's historically significant sites and was designated a National Historic Landmark in 2011. With the addition of their trolley in 2018, they provide heritage tours highlighting the many notables that are interred there. You go to woodlawntours.com and you'll see some of the tours that I do .com and it goes through too. So you know, whoever did your URLs did a good job. So we're happy to have them as a partner and friend, along with so many other attractions that exist here in the borough, like the New York Botanical Garden. Yeah. If I don't talk and everybody's quiet and you listen, you hear that? Birds, beautiful. So they've graciously opened their doors for us. Thank you so much. Aaron, Angel, Elizabeth, they always say presente no matter what. And we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. And when I say open the doors, I mean open the doors figuratively because there are no doors here. But anyway, so here to say a few words on behalf of the New York Botanical Garden is my good friend who serves as the garden's Director of Government Affairs, Angel Hernandez. Angel, come on up.
Thank you, Olga, very much.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. On behalf of the New York Botanical Garden, NYBG, I want to welcome you to our beautiful grounds to kick off Bronx Week 2021. I want to especially welcome the sponsors of Bronx Week and our friends in government, whom we are appreciative of their great service to our borough. NYBG has been preoccupied with hosting one of the city's most highly acclaimed exhibitions, Kusama, Cosmic Nature. You've probably noticed dancing pumpkins and vividly colored polka dots spread across our garden. Here at our native plant garden, you can experience Kusama's legendary Narcissus garden, as it incorporates the lake landscape with stainless steel reflective spheres floating about. Yayoi Kusama is one of Japan's most celebrated artists, whose career spans over 70 years and work experienced by millions all over the world. For those choosing to stay after the ceremony, we will provide vouchers so that you can enjoy the rest of the outdoor installations. NYBG's celebration of an Asian artist's extraordinary work coincides with Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Especially during these times, we recognize our city's Asian population for their contributions to the Bronx and beyond. NYBG also celebrates the pride and resilience all Bronx residents displayed during the pandemic. And recognizing this, we launched the Bronx Neighbors Initiative, where we welcomed over 150,000 Bronxites at no cost since reopening last July. Since Kusama Cosmic Nature opened, we've already offered thousands of free admission vouchers to organizations that cater to our borough's immigrant groups, seniors, and underserved populations. In 1898, just a couple of years after NYBG was founded, the Bronx Borough President's Office was created. Since then, we've shared great relationships with every incumbent of that office. Yet, as we look back over a century, we cannot recall a time when our relationship with that office was better than the one we share today with Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. President Diaz has always been a champion for arts and culture, but most importantly, a reliable friend to our institution. He's helped fund great projects here and always supported our efforts in environmental preservation and the plant sciences. As we all gather today to launch this year's Bronx Week celebration, the BP's very last. NYBG would like to say thank you, Mr. President, for all the work over the years, and good luck on your future endeavors. Everyone, please help me welcome our very own Bronx Borough President, Ruben Diaz Jr. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. So first, let me just thank the Botanical Garden. You know, I always call and refer to the Bronx as God's country. And so if this is God's country, certainly the Botanical Garden is the Garden of Eden here in the city and in the state and in the country. Let's look at this beautiful grounds. Let's give them all a strong round of applause. Angel is not only, so Aaron, Angel, Elizabeth are all with us here today. But Angel is also a son of the Bronx and someone who quite often is able to take people from outside of our borough. And if you live in our borough and you don't know much of the history, you should talk to that guy right there. He and Lloyd Alton are our Bronx historians. And let's give Angel a specific round of applause. Gracias, hermano. So I'm so happy that we were able to do this. The fact of the matter is with what we've been going through over the last 13, 14 months, there was an uncertainty. We weren't able to do Bronx Week last year. This is our 49th year celebrating Bronx Week. A little bit of history here. This started out under Bob Abrams as Bronx Day. And as Olga said, it went from Bronx Week, but we cheated a little bit. We had Bronx Week and a half. And we are doing all that we can, as safe as we can, to come back, to open the doors in our borough, in the city, in the state, and beyond. And the best way that we figured it slowly but surely, just to celebrate our victories. We all know what's transpired here with the pandemic. We all know all of the pain that is caused in our borough, all of the loss, all of the anxiety. But nonetheless, it's time to start opening up and it's time to start celebrating. And as I sat with Olga Luz Tirado, let's give her a strong round of applause from the Bronx Tourism Council. With Marlene Cintron, let's give Marlene Cintron, the president of the Bronx Economic Development Corporation. And with my borough president staff, all of them are not here, but let's give them all a strong round of applause. They are represented by the deputy borough president, Marika Scott McFadden. We said, you know what, let's do the best that we can to start celebrating who we are, our BX DNA, the fact that if you give us one little opportunity, we will go and take over and conquer the planet. And so with that said, I just want to acknowledge some of my colleagues in government who are here today. We have, as it was stated earlier, this is my last Bronx Week. That's okay. I'm at peace. All right? I'm at peace, but we're not going to have a debate today. But we are joined by some of my colleagues in government who are aspiring to be the next borough president. And this is in no particular order here. But we're joined by Councilman Fernando Cabrera, who's candidate to borough president. We're joined by Council Member Vanessa Gibson, candidate to borough president. And Assembly Member Natalia Fernandez, who's a candidate for borough president. We are also joined by my good friend, newly elected council member, Eric Dinowitz. Another individual who was elected and is doing a great job already, council member Kevin Riley, who's with us here. Do I have any? Oh, we have council candidate Aisha Bravo, who just joined us here today. In one way, shape, or form, and let me just get a little political here, the reason why I'm at peace is because I know that no matter what, we have a young, talented, intelligent group of individuals who are aspiring or already taking offices here in the borough. So if my job as the Bronx Borough President is to ensure that the future of the Bronx is going to be strong and solid, the caliber of candidates and the caliber of elected officials that I know that the borough is about to have certainly puts my anxiety at ease, and it should with every other resident of the Bronx. Let's give them all a strong round of applause. So what we are going to celebrate this week coming forward, starting between let's say, I'm sorry. I just want to acknowledge also before I move on, some of our, and you'll hear from some of them, some of our sponsors. If you look here, we have the wall of sponsors. Without them, we could not get this done. Of course, our primary sponsor is Montefiore Healthcare Network. Let's give them a strong round of applause. Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, Lincoln Hospital, Waste Management, Woodlawn Cemetery, Bronx Design Group, you have Bronx Community College, you have PIX, you have the Bronx Tourism Council, the BOEDC, the Bronx Terminal Market, Hostos Community College, BronxNet. I mean, the list goes on and on. Ladies, let's give them all a strong round of applause. If the pandemic has taught us nothing, is that we have to make sure that we get on the other side of this in a strong way. That means to continue to build on some of the things that we were able to do pre-pandemic, which is to have a solid and strong economy here in the borough. Remember that when I first took office, our unemployment was over 14%. The February before the pandemic hit, we were at historic lows. We were at 4%. We had over 116,000 new Bronxites that were working throughout the city of New York. We lost a lot of that. So what we were able to build was decimated in 11 months during the pandemic. So to all of the elected officials, to all of the community groups, to all of the institutions from the borough of the Bronx, this is the challenge before us. But also, we know that the pandemic hit those who have pre-existing conditions. And that means that we have to do better by making sure that we're stronger and healthier as a borough, as a community. That means that we have to educate ourselves, that we have to eat better. It's the reason why I support the Botanical Garden and the edible gardens, because not only are they growing fruits and vegetables here, but more importantly, they're teaching our youth how to grow that. You inspire the youth to do that, they'll go home and inspire the adults at their homes. And Saturday, we're going to kick off with our Health Day. Our Health Day is, we're going to have public and private organizations. We're going to provide healthcare service for seniors. We're going to have a drill with our Bronx fathers taking action. It's a soccer drill where they will be bringing their kids. And this is a skill set training. Bronx fathers is important and personal to me. My sons are grown men already. I like to brag that I am the best father that ever walked the earth. And I know that there's so many men, and I challenge every single Bronx father to try to dethrone me. So we need our Bronx fathers to be there with their children, not only academically, recreationally, emotionally, financially, and we encourage that through Bronx Fathers Taking Action. I know that Kevin Riley has something called the Dad Gang, and he's partnered with our BFTA. So Saturday that will happen. We are also going to have health screenings. We're going to provide free testing and also vaccinations. Vaccine, ladies and gentlemen, is the answer. Next week I receive my second Moderna shot. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, I know that there are a lot of trepidations and questions about medical experimentation, especially in black and brown communities in the past, but we know that it's safe. How many of you have been vaccinated here so far? How many of you have had any issues or problems other than the initial side effects of the shots? None, right? It is safe. It is the solution. And in order for us to get herd immunity and get back to normal, we ask everyone to get yourself vaccinated. And now every single New Yorker above the age of 16 can go and get a vaccine. So we'll have that on Saturday. Sunday, of course, it is Mother's Day. And so happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers here. Let's give all of the mothers and our mothers a strong round of applause. And just like God, on Mother's Day, we will take a day of rest. Be with your mothers. Do something nice for your mom or the mothers in your life. On Monday is our Veterans Appreciation Day. Speaking of a veteran, we've just been joined by one. He doesn't wear an Army helmet. He wears a cowboy hat. And that's my dad, Council Member Reverend Ruben Diaz, who has just joined us. I'm a proud father of a lieutenant military police officer, Ryan Diaz, our baby. He's in the U.S. Army. He's down in Savannah, Georgia. We're going to be celebrating our veterans with a small, socially distant, like a hybrid luncheon. On Tuesdays, our business luncheon. It is critical, and I'm using that word twice, that we do all that we can to not only support, not only rally, but and emotionally, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get behind our small businesses. Our small business, and I mean this. This is not a political discourse I'm trying to give here. They have been devastated, decimated on so many fronts. And if we don't do this correctly, so many of them won't come back. And that frightens me. I'm going to use that word. It concerns me, but it frightens me. And we need to encourage them. We need to acknowledge them. We need to celebrate them. We need to patronize them and go to their businesses. I know that a lot of us have gotten accustomed to ordering online because of the pandemic. Now is the time to go and vote with your feet and your wallet and go to our small businesses, patronize our restaurants. They need us desperately. So thanks to Marlene Cintron. Let's give her another strong round of applause. We will not only be honoring 12 of our small businesses here, but we will also have 5 of them who have fought to really, many of, they've done right by us during the pandemic. On Wednesdays, our sponsors appreciation breakfast, appreciation event. Here are our sponsors here. You are all the people with the money. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, keep digging in your pockets and your wallets. On Thursday, I'm a strong believer that we have not adequately and appropriately mourned. When you have loss, it's okay to cry. When you break up with your loved one, if you break up, unfortunately, I hope that doesn't happen to anybody. It's okay to eat potato chips and listen to freestyle music, Joe. And cry those tears on my pillow, all because of you. I don't want to get too morbid here, but it is okay to mourn. We lost thousands of Bronxites and tens of thousands of New Yorkers. And I don't believe that as New Yorkers and as Bronxites, that we've mourned adequately. And so on Thursday, we're going to have a day of remembrance. We're going to pause, a day of pause. We're asking people to go on hashtag remember the Bronx Remembers. Give you a little story. If you got vaccinated, go to hashtag IVax. Why did you vax? Who are you doing it for? In memory of who? We have elected officials here who have lost loved ones and parents. We all have a story to tell. And it's okay, it's therapeutic. If we're going to start healing, it's okay to get it out. And so Thursday's the day of remembrance. On Friday, we're going to have our annual bankers breakfast, where we're going to continue to show how the Bronx is going to grow and transform as a result of investment with our stakeholders here in our borough, our financial institutions. We're going to ask our financial institutions to do even more. And on Saturday, we will be inducting the Bronx Walk of Fame inductees at the Bronx Courthouse. Then we will take a drive over to have a concert, not at Mashulu, but at Orchard Beach. We want people to register for the Orchard Beach event. It's not for the entire world yet because of COVID ordinances. We're going to do something at the parking lot. You can have, if you have any questions, you can ask Olga Tirado, and I know she'll give us more information on that. On Sunday would have been the parade and our food and our arts festival, but we are not ready for that kind of big event. We will celebrate the spirit of the Bronx with a re-airing of our best highlights of Bronx Week parades from years past. We could not do this without our sponsors. None of this would have happened without their generosity, without their partnership and their support. It is kind of weird, but a great pleasure that, usually when we speak of the #1 sponsor of Bronx Week, it's Montefiore Healthcare Network. This guy here is someone that I have become practically family with. He is family, not practically. We are family. He served us honorably in the New York State Assembly. He served us tremendously as the former chair of the Bronx Democratic County Organization. And he went now, he's now as a big-time senior executive, vice president executive of Montefiore. And to represent Montefiore, our #1 sponsor is none other than my friend, my brother, Marco Crespo.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Mr. Borough President, thank you for that great introduction, although my two daughters have something to say about the best dad argument. We'll have that debate later on. It is a pleasure to join all of you on behalf of Dr. Philip Oswald, our CEO, and the entire Montefiore Health System. Thank you for allowing us to once again be a part of this amazing celebration of who we are as a borough. Bronx Week is such an incredible time for all of us to come together and to really think about where we are and where we're going and where we've been, never losing sight of the past as it informs the future. And you'll notice, so many of our fellow institutions that are part of the gold sponsors, and you see health system represented, Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, Bronx Care Health System, and everything that we've been through. There is a theme flowing here that is important. As we celebrate, let's not forget what we've been through. And not to sound too somber, but the reality is we lost many of our friends and family. We have been through a lot. We have seen the challenges. We saw it firsthand, our staff, frontline workers in the emergency departments and throughout our system, not only inside the four walls of the ED, but outside in the community. The work that many of you have done as elected officials and community leaders, handing out masks, handing out sanitizer, giving out food to those that were going hungry in their homes. There was so much trauma in that experience, but at the same time, we saw the best of us and the resiliency of our community. The Bronx has been through challenging times, but yet there we were, Bronxites coming together, institutions coming together to give back and to respond to the needs of our friends, family, and neighbors. And that's what we're celebrating here as well. It is a great time to be a Bronxite. It is a great time to celebrate Bronx. I want to thank the Bronx Borough President, Marlene Cintron, BOEDC, Olga Luz, and the entire team and staff that have worked to bring us back together. We lost Bronx Week last year, but we're going to come back stronger than ever. And every one of the institutions. I mean, look, it's a cloudy day, but it's Cinco de Mayo and you're in the Botanical Gardens. It is a beautiful day in the borough of the Bronx to launch a great week and a great event. So on behalf of Montefiore Health System, I encourage all of you to take part in the events, particularly the health fair. It is incredibly important for those of us that were denied access, regular access to our doctors and healthcare services to come back. We are in full swing. We are there to serve. We are there to help you. We need to make sure that we continue to protect our families, that we address health disparities in our borough, that we fight for health justice and health equity. Montefiore is ready for that fight. We hope you are as well. Let's get the work done. But in the meantime, let's celebrate the best of the borough of the Bronx. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco, and please send our gratitude and thanks to Dr. Oswald. Let's give the Montefiore and Dr. Oswald a strong round of applause. Our second gold-sponsor is Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, who has also been a great partner throughout the year. They have also sponsored many of our cultural events, and to represent them is none other than their community relations manager, Wendy Dominguez.
Let me take off my mask. Hi, good morning, everyone. On behalf of Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield, I would like to thank the Bronx Borough President's Office for putting this event together for Bronx Week. We are incredibly proud to be one of the sponsors, along with all the ones that are listed here, especially Montefiore. We've been, Melissa, on the phone all the time, coordinating the events. Again, we're incredibly honored to be part of this event. And we just want to say thank you for everyone again for putting this event together. And we appreciate you, Bronx Borough President. You know, it's been an honor to be working with your administration. Rose from our team, I know you know Rose very well. She talks wonders about you. So we're very happy to be joining you in this last event, but we know that we'll be part of Bronx Week for many years to come. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So, Olga, are we ready to announce the inductees? So, our first honoree was born into Bronx royalty. He is the grandson of the great Dr. Evelina Antonetti, affectionately known as the Hell Lady of the Bronx. He'll explain that. Who is credited with starting bilingual education in the Bronx and advocating for the basic human rights for Bronx natives and people of color. His mother, the late Lorraine Montenegro, is credited with starting the first woman with children facility in the country to combat their demons with substance abuse. His father is considered the foremost Latin music historian in the country and teaches at Ostos Community College. This honoree is also credited with great accomplishments. He is an Army veteran and was an EMT and union activist in the New York City Fire Department, retiring in 2018 after 25 years with the FDNY. He was a staunch advocate for his members who responded to the 9/11 tragedy and is helping to set up the 9/11 Health Registry, which will lead the World Trade Center, which led the WTC Zadroga bill. He acquired a passion for photography as a young boy. This is my favorite thing of all the things about him. By attending the Agnes Russell School on the campus of Columbia University. He continued his formal artistic education at the School of Visual Arts in New York City. The New York Times heralded him as the man who took hip-hop's baby pictures. All the while, he continued his photography and published a seminal book on hip-hop culture that has received worldwide recognition. The book is called Born in the Bronx, a visual record of the early days of hip-hop. In 2008, this entire collection of images became part of a permanent archive housed at Cornell University. In 2019, he published his second book, the 111 places in the Bronx that you must not miss, showcasing the Bronx's historical contributions to the world. He is my favorite because when hip-hop started, and you all know I'm not only the borough president, but I love hip-hop. My father and my mother didn't understand it when I was breakdancing and breaking my head. Remember that, Bobby? When I was trying to do windmills. They did not understand it when I had my leaves had stitched in permanent creases, my leaves. They did not understand it when at the time he only wanted to give me 20-something dollars to buy 69 Pro-Ceds. And I went and asked him for an outrageous, astronomical amount of money, $54 to get me Shell-toe Adidas. Now kids have, $500 sneakers. They did not understand it when I had white gloves so that I can pop and lock. You used to do that too, Fernando. I used to do that in LA. They did not understand it when I had fat shoelaces that had to match my La Tiger shirt. And I had to puff them up on my sneakers. There was no Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't have Twitter at the time. You did not have social media. And if it were not for this, and I mean this, if it were not for this individual, our first inductee, you would not have images of the early stages of this global phenomenon called hip hop that has taken over the world, that has been able to bridge gaps, that is the reason why a teenage white girl from Arizona today can relate to a black boy from Brooklyn, more so than anything else. It has created jobs, it has created industry, it has created millionaires and billionaires. And the first person to take pictures at the time to document this is our first inductee, Joe Conzo Jr. Does he say a few words? Does he say a few words now? You say a few words? Go ahead, Joe, say a few words.
Wow. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you for everything you've done since your days in the Assembly, as Borough President. Little known fact, I was Ruben's personal photographer when he first became Borough President. I accept this award on behalf of my family. As Ruben mentioned, my grandmother, who mentored some of the audiences out here, people out in the audience, as the Hell Lady of the Bronx, fought for basic human rights of black and brown people of the Bronx and New York City, with starting bilingual education in the public schools. My mother, who died in Hurricane Maria, started the first drug rehab for women with children in the country. And if you go to Prospect Avenue, 156th Street, you'll see each corner named after my mother and my grandmother, which is probably the only mother-daughter street corners in the entire country, okay? So, and, as a kid growing up, they supported my love and passion for photography, and I'm grateful for that. And when I go to schools and institutions and speak to children, I speak to them about, instead of picking up a gun, pick up a camera. Document your surroundings, document your friends. And that's what I did as a young man in the Bronx, was document my surroundings and document the birth of a billion-dollar industry that we now call hip-hop. And I'm grateful to be acknowledged this year at this year's Bronx Week event, because I've shot this event for the last 15, 20 years from the audience, never imagining being on the other side here. So I'm grateful for that, and I just want to thank everybody that came out today. And Palante, Bronx Strong.
Our third honoree could not, our next honoree could not be here today, but nonetheless, he deserves all of the accolades. I'm going to call this year's the essential workers of hip hop. If you understand hip hop, number one, we're the birthplace of it. Number two, even though the rappers get all of the accolades, if it were not for the photographers, and of course, hip hop started with the DJs. Kool Herc started hip hop on Sedgwick. The councilwoman and I were there when we made this Sedgwick Hip Hop Boulevard, and that started in 1973. And it was the DJ. So the DJ was the person who threw on the music, and it wasn't until later on that the MC, the massive ceremony, would get on the microphone. But it was the DJ, and Kid Capri is a big, big DJ. Even to this day, he's one of the pioneers. He couldn't be with us here today, but he'll be with us when we induct him. Kid Capri, if you don't know, was the first DJ to perform on major networks like BET, VH1. He was on a popular show on Def Jam Comedy. I don't know if you guys remember Def Comedy Jam. I'm sorry. He was the house DJ there. He's done so many things with Netflix. Def Comedy Jam's 25th anniversary special. He is somebody who, when the fellas and I would walk with our boombox, you threw on a Kid Capri tape, and you always hear Kid Capri. And so he's phenomenal, and I can't wait until we induct him, and I'm going to try to bait him into getting on the wheels of steel. But ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree, Kid Capri. And keeping with the hip hop theme, our last and final honoree, a lot of folks don't realize this. They think of hip hop, and you think of minorities, Latinos, and blacks. But we have a real hip hop pioneer here who's Italiano, Italian. And he was born and raised in the Bronx, son of Italian immigrants. He's been an entrepreneur since 1971, I don't want to age him, and has over 46 years of experience owning over 15 nightclubs, not easy, restaurants and lounges. He founded his company, Fever Enterprises, in 1976, which encompasses all areas of the music industry, including his own record label, artist management, publishing, and concert promotion. If you notice, whenever we do concerts, and this is a word to the wise to you elected officials, right, moving forward. If you're going to do an event once things open up after this year, next year, if you need a hip-hop artist, if you need a freestyle artist, you better know and get the information of our next inductee. His dedication to the Bronx community has been the focal point of his life. He's been out there fighting to combat cancer. He's been contributing to our borough through charity and fundraisers. His story is about disco fever and has been seen in a movie called Crush Groove. I just saw this the other night. I was channel surfing. Crush, grooving, body moving. The fever was on 167th Street in Jerome. Now, the Fat Boys would not have been the Fat Boys without the fever. LL Cool J, my radio, believe me, I like it loud. Got the musical box that rocks the crowd. If it wasn't for the fever, so you get the radio now that breaks the artist. If you were up and coming, Fat Joe will be the first to tell you. If it wasn't for the fever, Fat Joe brought somebody called Biggie Smalls, who we all know as the Notorious B.I.G., to the fever. That's where you broke an artist, and that was on 167th Street and Jerome. Everybody went to the fever. And the movie Crush Groove is about that trajectory of hip hop and what transpired in the fever. And ladies and gentlemen, this is long overdue. He's our next inductee. Today, Fever Enterprises spans over 40 years and is responsible for the evolution of two genres of music, freestyle music and hip hop music. Please help me welcome our next inductee, Sal Abatiello, the king of fever disco fever.
Hardest working man in music.
The best rapping Bronx Borough President ever, I swear to God. Just throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. If you came to party with the inductee, somebody say, oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, I just woke you guys up. I've been going to these events, Bronx Week and to the ball for so many years, and it's been such a great honor to attend and watch a lot of my colleagues and friends get inducted. Also, I'm so happy to be under Ruben's jurisdiction all these years, my favorite Bronx Borough President and the best of all time, in my opinion. Like he said, we share a lot of musical history together. And at Bronx Week, we always end up at the week, but we have this big party at Van Cortlandt, correct? And we bring in freestyle acts. And I've been blessed and so honored to be part of this history in the Bronx. I was born on Gun Hill Road near Vanda High School. I went to All Hallows. I got married at Immaculate Conception Church. So I'm a Bronx boy in and out. My family came here in the 1930s and they settled on 149th and 3rd Avenue and Washington Avenue. And my uncle was the butcher, my grandfather was the grocery guy, and my father opened up a lounge, and that's how we got into the business. I continued the family business in the Bronx. I've owned numerous clubs and nightclubs. I currently own a place still now, because Bronx is my heart, Evo Lounge, which is on Unionport Road, right near Ortiz. So I'm still involved here. We have a charity foundation, the Erica Roma Foundation, where we concentrate on raising awareness for breast cancer. I also do I bring in the music and the stage at Orchard Beach, which is an honor. We had, 2 years ago, we had like 20,000 people there. So I've been so involved. I'm so happy. I love growing up in the Bronx, being next to my neighbors, house to house, instead of upstate when there are 20 miles between each house. Growing up playing stickball and Rungalivio and hide and go seek and all the great games that our children will never know, probably, unfortunately, because that was a great part of growing up in the Bronx, being around family, multicultural people. And it's just been such an honor, and to be at the forefront and the pioneer of not only just hip hop. In 1967, the Fever was open for 10 years, 3,000 nights of hip hop. And so many people came out of the club. And then we opened up, then I discovered Latin hip hop in 85 with the Cover Girls and Naomi Gomez, which were Bronx people. Right now, it's just taken a course where we're so proud of the music, because hip hop is probably the biggest music in the world. And freestyle is an underground cultural that we do. I've been at Lehman College for 20 years now doing concerts. We have not sold out one time for old school freestyle and hip hop. And now that everybody's at that age, we're enjoying it, and we get to sit in a seat because we can't stand to dance no more. And that's why I leave it. But anyway, I'm so honored. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, everybody here. Thank you, all the officials, for conducting it.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are our 2021 inductees to the Bronx Walk of Fame. Let's give them a strong round of applause. In closing, I just want to say this. I want to thank all of you. It hasn't been easy, and this is not easy. And, you know, obviously, we could have continued to do even bigger and better things, but we had something called COVID. This is not the time to give up. For me, it's been quite a beautiful, wonderful ride. I'm closing out on my 26th year of being an elected official. And now it's time to say goodbye. In all seriousness, especially to all of my colleagues in government, we all have personalities. We all have interests. We all have egos. But one thing I know about each and every single one of you is that even in disagreements, you all love the Bronx. Even in times of strained relationships, the only reason why you give it that much energy is because you really, really, in your core, all believe that you want to do something good, and you can do something good for your neighbors, your community, and the borough. For all of you in business, you spend your hard-earned money. Your family members, perhaps at one time, or your friends, or those that you went to college with, thought you were probably absolutely nuts to invest in the Bronx. And hopefully you continue to prove them wrong. We thank you for your investment. To all of the institutions, thank you for not just sticking in your silos. If you are a healthcare institution or a healthcare network, you could just do that. But you decided that in order to be a good corporate neighbor, that you have to give back. And at least in the years that I've been the Bronx Borough President, each and every single one of you have done that and have proven to be what's a paradigm of what's a good corporate neighbor. To those of you who we induct to the Bronx Walk of Fame, throughout the years, it's been over 120, I think 125 sons and daughters of the Bronx. Thank you for carrying that Bronx banner and baton and being Bronx ambassadors and going out there and conquering the world with the Bronx diaspora and being unabashedly proud of where you come from. The pandemic hit us hard, but so did the fires of the 70s. So did the crack of the 80s. So did the crime of the early 90s. And so a lot of folks and a lot of municipalities are trying to figure out their identity and who they are and their resolve because they've never been hit as hard in the past, now that they're being hit by the pandemic. But in the Bronx, and to our core, we have a certain swag. There's a certain flavor. There's a certain tenacity, a certain DNA. We've been punched in the gut. We've been elbowed in the chin. We've suffered, but we've never, ever, ever stayed down. And so collectively moving forward, I may not be the borough president, but I'm not going anywhere. But the challenge to all of us is how do we all, in our capacities, make sure that just the same way we did after the 70s, after the 80s and early 90s, how are we going to be the leader of this city, the leader of this country, and showing them how to dust yourself off and get back up. Even though I can't see all of your faces because of the mask, but with all of the eyes that I see here, and with all the people that I see out in the street, and all of our imperfections, I am 100% confident that the Bronx will once again rise to that challenge. It is a tremendous burden. There's not time for excuses. If you're going to hate on somebody else for what they're doing, go ahead and hate. But damn it, prove what you're doing as well. Criticizing somebody on social media, criticizing somebody else for what they're doing for the sake of criticizing, it is not enough. You get 0 points for it. It is not tolerable. This is the time now where we show our makeup. We're celebrating individuals who made a mark in this beautiful thing called hip-hop. Hip-hop was created at a time of desperate need and desperation and destitute. Hip-hop was created with young boys and girls in a place called the South Bronx who had beats when they banged on pipes and buckets, who sampled other people's records, who just wanted to party and have a good time, regardless of the war-torn environment that they were living in back in the 70s. If those poor kids, if those destitute men and women who were left for dead birthed this beautiful thing that has taken the world by storm, think about what we can continue to do if we follow their example. I am honored and humbled as the borough president to have had the best, what I say, political job in the city of New York. I am president of the Boogie Down Bronx, El Condado de la Salsa, my hometown. And I've done my thing. But I know that those of you who will continue to follow are going to do even bigger and greater things. We expect nothing less. So God bless you. God bless the Bronx. And everyone, please continue to stay healthy. Questions if there are any. Questions? Any questions? By the way, for media purposes, we want people to follow us on ilovethebronx.com, right? ilovethebronx.com. And any questions? No? Okay, thank you. God bless you guys.